And welcome back to the Financially Simple Experience. You know, in the last episode, we addressed this thought of, hey, how much does it cost to hire an investment manager to manage roughly $1 million? And shortly after that particular listener question that came through, by the way, maybe you have a question, connect with us on social media, drop us a line. Maybe you can go to financiallysimple.com and ask Justin through that series. Maybe you just said, hey, I have this burning question, man. I'd love to hear you address it. Leave us a line and we'll certainly address it like we did that last episode. Hey, and by the way, while you're there, please drop us a review. It helps us grow the podcast so other business owners can learn and hopefully break away from this enslavement thing we call business to actually reach their full potential. So do us a favor and leave us a review, and we'll certainly continue to try to answer your questions. After we answered that last listener question, I had a buddy of mine who said, hey, Justin, what's the average cost in hiring a comprehensive financial planner to help manage my personal life? Now, that seems like a pretty straightforward question. If only. The world of finance as it sits today is not that straightforward. You're like, dude, seems pretty easy. How much does it cost to hire a comprehensive financial planner? Yeah. Here's the problem. Comprehensive and financial planner all put together. You see, it's very frustrating to me, and warning, here's a soapbox moment from Justin. It's very frustrating to me to sit down with somebody who thinks they've had a financial plan, a comprehensive financial plan, mind you, and all they really received was some projections in order to sell them some type of a financial product, some sort of a strategy, or some sort of a document. I've even had individuals that I've worked with and worked with over my career who would do, quote, comprehensive financial planning only to sell some sort of a permanent life insurance product. I've even seen it as of late with CPA firms who come up with these ideas in order to sell a very high commissioned insurance product under the auspice of comprehensive financial planning. So when I hear the question, hey, what's the average cost of hiring a comprehensive financial planner? We got to stop right there. Before we even get to help manage our personal life, the way the rest of the question goes, we got to stop right there and say, are they truly a comprehensive financial planner? So for me, let's deal with the word comprehensive. Comprehensive is, of course, going to look at investments. It's going to look at marketable securities, things like stocks and bonds. But it's also going to look at real estate. What's your ROI on your real estate? What's your after-tax yield of your real estate? What about your business? What is your capitalization rate on your business? What's your hurdle rate? How is your business performing in relationship to marketable securities? How is your real estate performing in relationship to business? Let's look at all investments, not just one. That is comprehensive. Let's dive into cash flow. Let's see how much you're spending, how much you're taking home, and where are you spending it. Let's see if you should change the way you get paid. I believe, and you've heard me mention this for the last 4 years now almost, that a budget is not restraining, it's liberating. And in fact, instead of cutting the budget, let's produce more income. See, it's easier for us to produce more income than it is oftentimes for us to reduce our lifestyle. So let's focus on cash flow. Let's look at risk management, but not only the risk management things that we can make a quick buck on. So oftentimes we'll see where some sort of a quote financial planner is no more than a glorified insurance salesman, and their risk management is no more than looking at life or disability insurance. Forget home and auto. Forget looking at key person. Forget looking at BOPs, or forget looking at a lot of the other insurances that we need. But let's not stay focused on insurance. What about company-specific risk? How do you mitigate your company-specific risk? That's part of risk management. Let's also get lawyers involved to the tune of reducing the risk within our organization. See, this is comprehensive financial planning as I view it. You know, retirement planning is not just, hey, here's where you're at, now here's how much money you need to save. That's not retirement planning. Crap, I can run that with a calculator online and just do a quick Google search, and it will show me what I need to save. Retirement planning is more about how am I going to affect the taxes when I enter into retirement? What's going to create the maximum flexibility for me in retirement? When should I pull Social Security? What is the crossover point? How does my health impact my distributions? Man, there's so much to retirement planning. Then we deal with estate. We got a lot of the state changes that appear to be happening in our government at this point. The hubbub that we're seeing comes with this particular tax reform legislation that it may go into law this year from the time I'm recording this. Who knows what the estate rules are going to be? Let's also look at tax. The biggest creditor we all have in our lives is the IRS. Comprehensive planning has to work alongside a tax advisor to help show how to reduce taxes. And then right now, many of us are worried about inflation. What's it going to do to us long term? How do we mitigate the risk of inflation? See, this is comprehensive financial planning to me. Comprehensive is all-inclusive. It's not there with the notion of, hey, we're going to generate a report in order to sell something. That's not the idea behind comprehensive planning. And friends, unfortunately, the world we live in today, many people will profess themselves to be comprehensive, but yet, if you look into their plans, they're anything but. They're mostly focused on selling some sort of an insurance product, some sort of an investment account or an investment product, or some sort of a tax strategy which yields tax returns or legal documents. So comprehensive planner. We've dealt with comprehensive, but what about financial planner? That term has been tossed around a lot over the years. I've been doing this world of investing or financial planning or wealth management long enough to hear each of those things turn. We've seen the term financial advisor, financial planner, wealth manager, wealth consultant, certified financial planner, which is a designation, but you hear all these various things. But ultimately, to me, a financial planner is someone who acts as a fiduciary. They do what's in your best interest, not somebody who acts in a suitability format or does what's suitable for you. The way I describe it is this, and I've used this illustration over the last 15, 16 years of my life. If all I have to do is find something suitable, then this illustration can work. You could come to me and say, hey, Justin, I need to buy a coffee cup. Very simple illustration. Justin, I need to buy a coffee cup. And I listen to you, and I say, okay, what are you going to do with this coffee cup? Well, I'm going to drink coffee from it. Well, how long do you want the coffee to stay hot? A little while. Okay, well, here's a plethora of coffee cups. I can get you a Yeti-style coffee cup, which is copper lime metal, holds the coffee hot, forever. So 10 minutes later, 30 minutes, an hour later, you burn your tongue with the coffee. I have some of those. They work really good. Or you may just need a glass or a ceramic coffee cup. Or maybe you need a thermos style that you can actually seal up and throw in your backpack. You see, what I'm doing in a suitability format is I'm giving you a list of coffee cup designs, and you pick what you think you like. Now, I may try to weigh you into one movement or the other, but it's pretty easy. What type of coffee cup do you want? You want to do this? Here's some ideas for you to choose from. If I'm acting as a fiduciary, then I'm going to spend a lot of time trying to come up with exactly what you need. The same is true with planning. To me, a financial planner is one that acts as a fiduciary. They try to figure out exactly to the penny what you need to do, what you're trying to accomplish. What is your aspirations in life? And they orchestrate all these things. Yeah, they're going to look at investments, and they're going to look at real estate and business and cash flow and risk management and retirement, education, all this stuff to show you the absolute best strategy they can come up with to help you reach your goals. That to me is comprehensive financial planning. So let's go back to the question. Hey, Justin, what's the average cost of hiring a comprehensive, we dealt with that, financial planner, I believe fiduciary, to help manage? I love that word help. You see, it's our lives. Even though I have individuals who help me manage, ultimately it's my job to manage my personal life. And I love the way my friend said, hey, I need someone to help manage my personal life. So how much does it cost? There was a study done by Michael Kitces on kitces.com way back in 2017 that showed a variation of cost. And the same is true today. So way back in 17, if somebody had an average net worth of about $250,000, it was roughly somewhere in the neighborhood of almost $1,400, $1,417. You say, well, Justin, I have a significantly greater net worth than $250,000. Maybe it was a $1 million net worth. Well, you're going to fall somewhere in the neighborhood of about $5,000 for the average comprehensive financial plan. That was way back in 17. Here we are now in 2021, and the numbers have moved up a little bit. Now we have a couple of different ways to deal with this. You have a retainer model these days that says, hey, you're going to give us money. You're going to give us money. In turn, we're going to do something for you. So for the most part, retainer models could go anywhere between, for a very light financial plan of $600 all the way up to $17,500 for comprehensive planning. We see where people would charge by the hour. So I know planners that charge $200 an hour if they're not well seasoned in an area. And then I know planners that charge $2,000 an hour if they're experts in a particular area. So we see all sorts of pricing structures. So in this world, we see that there are robos. They're the same thing as robo-investors. There are robot financial planners that you simply take your data, put it into the system, and it gives you out results. They typically don't work really well for someone like me, who's a business owner, who has lots of complexity, but there are those robots out there. And candidly, if you go online, you can find some of these robots that'll do financial planning for you for $200. Now, is it comprehensive? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. It may be commercialized. It may be a one-size-fits-all, but I've seen that. I've also seen where hybrid models come into place where some firms, remember the bait and switch that I talked about earlier, or that osmosis, they use financial planning in efforts to do something. But I've seen these hybrid models to where maybe there's an investment firm who says, hey, we'll do financial planning for you, typically an $800 fee that we'll do complimentary in nature as long as you have $250,000 of investments. You see, what they're using as a loss leader, this advice. We call it light planning. They'll use this very basic planning in efforts to show you that your portfolio is not being managed properly. But I see that often. You actually hear it on the news. You hear the commercials as you're listening to the news, or at least I do. Maybe it's because I'm in the world of finance. I pay attention to these things. But you often see this. Hey, for typically a fee is $800, we'll do it complimentary. Well, why? Because they're trying to get the money from you to manage. But in the world of full service, or in the world of custom, which is, I gotta believe that's where most of us want to be. I can remember the first time I bought a pair of custom shoes. Wow, they were expensive. I can remember the first custom suit I ever had. Whoa, good golly, it was expensive. But man, did it fit me so well. And it made me look amazing. It was unbelievable. And that's the way we want to be in the world of finance. We don't want somebody else's approach to financial planning. We want exactly what fits us, what gives us the absolute best opportunity to succeed to meet our goals. And that's where comprehensive, custom work comes into play. So in this world, we have to break down where we're at in life. Maybe you're listening to me today, as I know so many young business owners do, and you're like, dude, I'm not ready for business help. I'm just getting started, but I want to start off with basic financial planning. Some people would call that next gen. Some people would call it entry level or a bronze level planning, depending on what type of firm's out there. But you could roughly guesstimate that the planner is going to charge you on average about $250 an hour. That's about the cost of the average CFP or basic planner today. Well, if they're a CFP, they may charge a little bit more. But this is just basic planning. And they're going to probably charge you a set price between somewhere in the neighborhood of about $1,500. So think about $100, $125 a month, roughly. And it could go all the way up to $200 or $300. That's basic level service. And it'll help you understand, hey, how to get your structures and your cash flow in line, how to figure out how to pay off your debt so you can start retirement strategies, how to begin investing or when to begin investing. It's going to teach you the framework for decision making, and that's pretty basic stuff. And this is just more than likely making sure that you got your life headed in the right direction. But as we progress in life, we quickly realize, hey, we need a little bit more help. Maybe now kids come into the picture. Maybe we're out of debt, and now we're trying to deal with maximization of retirement planning. Maybe it's time to start protecting for your kids. Maybe you're dealing with estate documents for the first time. Okay, complexity increases. And so now you may end up paying $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on a yearly basis to try to help you there. Say, well, Justin, I'm far past that. Yeah, okay, let's continue our level of growth here. Now maybe it's time that, look, I'm getting close to the end I'm close to the end of my work life, and I'm about ready to retire. I'm not a business owner like this individual was. He was not a business owner, and this is exactly where he was. He's like, Justin, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've got some money set back. I've got my basics. I've done my Dave Ramsey baby steps. I've got that out of the way. All I have is to pay my house off. And, I'm just making a lot of money. I just don't know how to deal with this. Or maybe you just received an inheritance. I've had about 4 people in our office this year that aren't business owners that are working with the team, and they're trying to figure out, what do we do with this inheritance we just received? A little bit more complexity, right? Well, a planner may charge $3,000 to $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for that level of complexity. Well, that's not quite us yet, right? As business owners, maybe we're now in this level of, hey, look, I have a business. I'm dealing with restrictive stock. I'm dealing with tax strategies. I'm dealing with trying to figure out, should I defer compensation or should I pay taxes now? What do I do if my investments have large deferred capital gains in it, or what's called unrealized gains? Maybe your complexity kicks up a little bit. Well, in that case, you may end up spending $600, $700, $800 a month, $7,000, $9,000 a year for complexity. And that's still maybe not us as business owners. Let me deal with us. The average listener that we talk to every single week on the episodes. We're business owners. Some of us own multiple businesses. Highly complex. We have tax sensitivity out the wazoo. We have multiple types of income coming in. Maybe we have W-2, maybe we have business distributions. We could have rental property. We could have royalty income. We have multiple different types of income coming in. We're dealing with exit planning. We're dealing with de-risking ourselves. Maybe we're in that 10-year and out time period where we got 10 years to build the business up. Remember, our investments, part of it's the business. Maybe we need to drastically reduce debt in order to retire. Maybe we've been living on business income far below our needs, and now we just started paying ourselves more, and we're afraid that we're going to lose that money due to life increases or lifestyle increases. Maybe we did receive an inheritance, and that inheritance is closely held family stock in a business. Maybe we're the primary owner and we have multiple employees. Maybe we want to take a piece of real estate and develop it for our key business or for some sort of a development. You see how complex this could get? In that area, you're not looking for the plain Jane. You're not looking for the cheapest advice. You're looking for the best advice that you can gather. Most comprehensive planning average is $17,500, according to the Michael Kitces survey from 2020. The most complex, that's oftentimes where we live as business owners. The most comprehensive and most complex average is $17,000. Why? Because you're not working with a novice planner. You're working with someone like me, someone who has multiple credentials, almost 20 years experience, somebody who's been around the block, somebody who can say, hey, I've done this before. I've got this. Let's go. You don't want a novice. So it doesn't really matter when it comes to complexity, how much it's going to cost. The question is, can we get there? So let's go back to answer the question. Again, the question is, hey, Justin, what is the average cost of hiring a comprehensive planner to help manage our personal life? Well, the most comprehensive average fee out there is around $17,000. That's the max fee. So it's get up there, $17,000. The max fee on the comprehensive, just the basic, hey, it's not too complicated, but it's a little bit more complicated. It could be $13,000. The basic light version could be $10,000, and the targeted version could be $5,000. Those are the fees that I would see we business owners would end up paying. Say, Justin, I'm not a business owner. Okay, that's a little less complexity. So our fees may range $3,000 to $6,000. It all just depends on the complexity. And at this point, I'm sitting here going, oh my goodness, I did not realize financial planners were that expensive if I'm you. And so we're running this cost-benefit analysis. We're doing it in our head, and we're almost self-diagnosing. Well, I think I fall in this particular category. I don't want to pay the most expensive. I don't need that. There's this term that I heard not too long ago called FUNK, F-O-N-K, F-O-N-K, the fear of not knowing. Have you ever been concerned on not what you know, but what you don't know? You see, not knowing is what can often hurt us. Plato said, better be unborn than untaught, for ignorance is the root of misfortune. I can bet that you've never been at this place in your life before. I think it's a safe bet. I think it's a safe bet for me to say I have never been here before. I've never been mid-40s, running a business, speaking on international stages. I've never been there before. Better be unborn than untaught, for ignorance is the root of misfortune. Ignorance. That word just basically means unlearned, uneducated in this one particular area. It doesn't mean stupid. It means, hey, I don't know. I read this quote by Mr. Chimon, Chinmon. It said, ignorance is an enemy, even to its owner. Knowledge is a friend, even to its hater. Ignorance hates knowledge because it's too pure. Knowledge fears ignorance because it is too sure. My challenge to you, friends, is this. If you're considering hiring a financial planner, make the statement that a friend of mine or client of mine did years ago. Hire the very best you can afford. And I would go on a limb to say this. If the planner is good and they're acting as a fiduciary, more than likely, they're going to be able to illustrate their fees that they're proposing as a cost savings to where it's going to be a net neutral to you and your lifestyle. So I've tried to cover this average fee. We're going to put a chart on the Financially Simple blog. The average fee depends on where you're at. For many of us, we don't want the $200 or $500 turnkey generic plan. Many of us need custom, comprehensive, fiduciary planning. Let's quell our ignorance. Let's learn. Let's walk down a path together with somebody who's in it to watch you succeed. This, my friends, is comprehensive financial planning. I realize it's complicated. I do. I get it. I live this world. Trying to simplify the complicated in my world is tough. I realize it's complicated, but it doesn't have to be. Let's continue to make our lives at least financially simple. Y'all leave us a question and go out and make it a great day.